Evan McDougal. I've been skating for 2.5 years now. I longboarded for like 5 years before that, but that doesn't really count for skateboarding, but it still made me more comfortable when I started skating.
What do you define skateboarding culture as?
Skate culture for me is just getting out with your friends and skating and just enjoying it.
How do you feel other people that aren't a part of skate culture do skate culture?
I feel like in the past, people viewed skateboarding very negatively, and now most younger people, I'd say, view it positively. And then in the older generation, it's kind of mixed. Some people understand it, some people just kind of still view it negatively, like how the way Curbside got shut down. They got shut down, and the reason they were given was absolute nonsense considering the warehouse next to them did the same thing. They got shut down because they weren't zoned for, the warehouse they were in wasn't zoned for social gatherings of people, but the one next door was a CrossFit gym with like 30+ people in it at a time. So there really wasn't any reason to shut it down except for the fact that they didn't like the skateboarders.
What personally drew you to skateboarding? You do it.
Well, what first introduced me to skateboarding was I'd already longboarded for a while, so I felt comfortable on that. But then for the actual skateboard, my friend Mike got a skateboard, and we were bored one day, so I just went with him to the skate park. Neither of us could really do anything, but we just hopped in the bowl and just went back and forth, doing a kick turn here, turn around, push, do a kick turn there, turn around, push. And just that alone, being so basic, was so fun that I knew that once I learned more, it would be even more fun. And that was what also drove me to learn more. I knew it was just gonna keep getting better and better, and it did, so.
Do you think like skateboarders and people in skateboarding are welcoming and like helpful, or is it hit or miss?
I feel like most people in skateboarding are super accepting. Every group has their occasional asshole. But for the most part, as long as you're not being an asshole to other people, they're gonna be nice back. Like, for example, no matter how new you are, like I've seen people at a skate park trying something as simple as an ollie and they're not getting it. But as long as they keep trying and trying, I've seen people land it and the whole park like gets excited for them, and all the other people are like clapping and shit just for landing an ollie, just because it's all about pushing to get a new trick, no matter what it is. So I definitely would say skateboarders are accepting of each other.
So what's the most positive experience you've had with skateboarding and its culture?
I would say the most positive experience that I've had with skateboarding was when me and Joe were traveling in Scotland, and we were about to hop on a bus to get to the skate park, and because it was like quite a few miles away, and Joe saw a dude walking by with a skateboard. We weren't sure if it was the right bus, so he said, yo, is this the right bus to get to the skate park? And he goes, it's a waste of money to take the bus, but I gotta stop at my house first, so if you come with me to my house, then I can just take you there. So this dude we'd never met before led us through the back streets of Edinburgh until we got to his house. We hung out there for like 15 or so minutes. He showed us around. Then we went to the skate park and hung out with him the whole day. And it genuinely felt like we'd known him for like months. And that's not uncommon for skateboarding. Like, it would be the same thing if somebody came here and they said, like, even if they just asked me a basic question, I would offer to help them out, show them around. If they needed a place to stay, honestly, I'd let them crash at my house. And that's usually how it goes no matter where you are with skateboarding.
Do you think like there's a difference in, like, when we were in Europe or anything? Do you think there's a big difference in vibe or the scene at all?
I'd say I don't think there's a really big difference in skateboarding too much where you go from place to place. I'd say the bag of tricks that they have can kind of vary because people take inspiration from what they see. So their tricks kind of evolve differently in different places. But for the most part, I would say skateboarding is the same everywhere. It's just about pushing yourself to land better tricks. And that's pretty much it.
What's the most negative experience you've had skateboarding?
So I would say, as far as for me personally, the most negative experience that I've had with skateboarding, injury-wise, was I tore 3 ligaments in my left ankle. That was not fun, and that was only like a couple months after I got really into skateboarding. Honestly, it wasn't even like I had to force myself to keep going. I started skating again too soon. like before it fully healed up, but I just couldn't stay off the board. I just wanted to, every time I was sitting inside because of my ankle being hurt, I just wanted to be outside skating. I just loved it right from the get-go. Like, to the point where when I first started skating, I had work starting at noon, and it was in the winter, and I would wake up and get to the park at 7 a.m. like before it was light out, sit in my car for like 10 minutes till it got light enough to skate until like 10 in like below freezing temperature, and then still go to work because I just loved it. So it wasn't really even a question for me. It was about when I could skate, not if I was going to keep skating. But the most negative thing, I guess, in skateboarding for me that wasn't the injury was just there are some parks in really gnarly places. Like there's one in North Philly that I haven't been to, but one of our friends was there and like somebody got stabbed across the street. The one FDR in Philly, it's under a bridge under I-95, and like I skated the mini ramp there and it's been there for years, and then all of a sudden it burned down because there was a homeless guy living under it, and he tried to start a fire under a wooden ramp to keep warm and lit the whole ramp on fire, and it burned down. And as far as people who don't skate and aren't a part of skate culture negatively influencing it, I would say it's just the usual. I'll be skating somewhere in public and I'll get told to stop skating there for no reason. Like, there was one spot that I was skating that was in a parking lot, and I was just skating on the curb. It's not part of the building. It wasn't gonna hurt anything or damage anything. I was skating on the curb, and somebody came from around one of the shops and started yelling at us to leave. And it's just like, it's a street and a curb. It's concrete. They were not gonna do anything. But other than that, there's really not too many negatives about it.
Why do you think there's that like misconception that like if you're skateboarding somewhere, or you're being somewhere, you're being disrespectful, you're being an asshole, you're damaging property? Like, why do you think? Because like that's a really common belief. You'd agree, right?
Yeah.
When people see you, like, why do people get kicked out of like skate spots and stuff? Like, why?
I would say the reason people get kicked out of skate spots or yelled at in public for skating is, I will say that it can damage property over a long period of time. And that's just like, it's not gonna do anything too bad. If it's concrete, it'll just wear down the concrete a bit. As far as getting yelled at, I understand when like security guards kick somebody out, because if somebody is skating there and they get hurt, technically they could sue, but they wouldn't, but they don't know that. So I understand when they kick people out. But then the majority of the time they're just kicking you out just because.
Cool. What's up, everybody? My name is Tim Diamond. I've been skating for about 3 years now. Picked it up with my friend Evan that was previously on. And yeah, we've just been doing it ever since.
What would you personally define skateboarding culture as?
Skateboarding culture, I see it as something, I see it as a very creative process. I see it as, it's really interesting to see what everybody can come up with, because you're always doing your own thing, and even with within the same tricks and shit, it's all fucking different. Everybody does everything a little bit different, at least, and it's just a great way to get outside and meet new people, hang out with your friends, and it's something you can do whenever. I think a lot of people, when they think about skateboarding culture, it's largely misrepresented, and people think of it as, I don't know, just a bunch of hooligans doing random shit and messing everything up and vandalizing and fucking doing drugs and all that stuff. And well, that can be part of it. There's, especially as of late, there's a bigger scene coming up of just people trying to get outside, have a good time, and not really worry about anything else that comes with other things like sports and all that.
So what like personally drew you to skateboarding, and like how's it changed your life?
Personally, drew me into skateboarding was, honestly, it was just something new. I always like learn new things, and I always thought it was cool and wanted to check it out, and then eventually me and one of my friends, we both got boards, and how does it change my life? It's something I do a lot during my free time. I've met a lot of cool people, gotten close to a lot of people that I wouldn't have otherwise, and yeah. I would also say it's changed parts of my personality by just letting me be more comfortable and confident in myself. And as weird as that sounds, I think that's come from more of the relational aspect of it and the people I've met through it. But I mean, it's still through skateboarding nonetheless.
So describe how people throughout skateboarding interact with each other, like through the culture and through like actually at parks and shit.
Yeah, absolutely. People in the skateboarding world interact in a very unique way. You meet a lot of different people, a lot of different types, and it can range from just like fucking yelling something when you land a cool trick or something to I've had like full-on hour-long conversations with random dudes that I've never even met, and then you get some assholes that just kind of do their own thing and don't want to even look at you. So it's all very unique, and you never really know what you're gonna get. But I'd say as a whole, people are genuinely friendly and kind, and just down to meet new people.
What is the most positive experience you've had with skateboarding?
Most positive experience that I've experienced through skateboarding, it's definitely got to do with the people that I've met. I've been skating at a park near my school where I knew nobody, and now every single time I go there, I'll know like 3 or 4 people that are there, and we'll hang out and we'll talk, and then the people back home that I've gotten closer with, and we hang out all the time outside of skateboarding now, and it's just the relational aspect of it has brought all out to me.
What's like the most negative thing it's like someone outside of skateboarding, someone in skateboarding?
The most negative experiences, I mean, falling sucks. It's never that fun. Getting hurt sucks. Sometimes you go out and you can't really do anything, and it's just a really frustrating day. That's not really that big of a deal though, it all comes with the territory. I'd say the biggest thing is just, sometimes you do meet people who just kind of suck, and that's never fun, but it's not that bad, it's pretty uncommon.
More mainstream aspect will change like the creativity and like that, you know what I mean?
Gotcha. Alright. Yeah, I think skateboarding becoming more mainstream is both a good thing and a bad thing. There's definitely huge upsides to that. It's going to become more accepted, and just the negative view on it is going to become less and less over time. And I see that as a great thing. The only negative part that I see about this is people becoming to see it as a sport, because personally, like, it's going to be in the Olympics next year, and I think that's totally ridiculous. But I just wanted to stay true to what it is, and in reality, it's just a creative process. Like, that's all it is. If you watch professionals and you watch their parts and everything like that, I mean, people have been doing the same tricks for years, but the way people do them, the things that they do it on, it's all a creative process, and it's an expression of themselves. And I think when it's translated over to like a competition or a sport, I think it loses some of that. So as long as it doesn't get too enveloped in that way of thinking, I think everything will be fine.
Big stigma, like when people are skating in like public places, like in the city, like why do you think all these people are always so like, I guess, out to get? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah, I think a lot of the negative stigma about it in public, I think most of it stems from the fact that when you are skating an object, you are literally vandalizing it, because if you look at, say, like a marble ledge or something that's been skated in the city, it looks nothing like it used to. So I can see where people would have really negative feelings about that.